Today we're going to be looking at every single Kamek plush from the original ones released back in the 1990s to the newest ones only released a few years ago. Now we're going to be starting off with the first one made by Vic Tokai in the year 1991. Now, just like most early Mario plushes, this plush could actually get damaged in a ton of different ways, as though they just weren't really made that well back then. As though the glasses could actually get damaged pretty easily, as though the white part of the glasses are only glued onto the face, meaning that you'll find some of these plushes missing them. And well, same thing with the nose, as though sometimes the nose pieces are just falling off completely, as though once again they're just really small pieces of felt material glued on. And well, for the mouth on this plush, it's just a black piece of plush material, and well, it looks pretty good. The clothes on this plush also look pretty good, as well, for the time, they actually look pretty accurate, and well, his wand does look a bit weird, but it does make sense. As well, you'll notice in these two early Kamek plushes, the wands look a lot different than they do today, as well, that's just how his design was back then. So technically, that is still an accurate detail, even though it doesn't look accurate to today's standards. You can't really base it off that, as well, that would just be really unfair, as well, they couldn't really predict what they would look like in the future. But yeah, overall, for the time, this is actually a really good Kamek plush. One thing that is really weird about it, though, is that the coat could actually come off of it. As well, since it's not really stitched onto anything, on most of these plushes, you could just take it off, which is just a really strange detail. But yeah, besides that one really strange detail, the rest of the plush actually looks really good, as well, the entire plush is just really nicely stuffed, and the only really bad details are the ones on the face that could get damaged. And well, if you want this plush, you can look on websites like eBay and Mercari, and well, you should be able to find it, though it does sell for a good amount of money, as well, it's a pretty rare and old plush. Now next we have the Teta 1993 Banpresto Kamek plush. Now this plush was released by Banpresto, and well, it was part of their Teta plush, and well, the reason why it's called that is, well, the material that it's made out of is called a Teta material, so that's why it's called that. And well, for the face on this plush, it looks pretty good. There are a few really strange details though, like the nose looks really weird, as though for whatever reason it's a completely different piece of plush material. And well, on some of these plushes, the mouth could also look pretty weird, but the glasses actually do look really good, as though they actually have some different colors within them just to give it a bit more detail. And well, one thing that you'll notice about this entire plush is that it's just really wide, and well, that was just kind of a thing that the entire plush set had, as well, it was just a really strange set, as well, a lot of the plushes are just really wide for whatever reason. Which does actually give it a pretty strange look, but besides that, the clothes on this plush do look pretty good, and the wand once again looks accurate to the standards at the time. As once again, the wand doesn't really look accurate at all in today's standards, but at the time, it did actually look pretty good. And well, the hat on this plush is really nicely stitched on, so it can't really come off. And same thing with the coat as well, but it's just really nicely made and everything, and it's also stitched on, so it can't really come off. Overall, this plush does look pretty strange, as though the style of the plush set just kind of made this one look really weird, as though the entire plush set just had a pretty strange style to it. But yeah, if you want this plush, you can look on websites like eBay and Mercari, and it sells for around $70 to $80, mattering on the condition that it's in. Now, there was actually no new Kamek plushes for another 20 years, as though the next Kamek plush came out in the year 2013, made by Sine. So yeah, for the majority of the time that Mario plushes have existed, there's really only been 2 Kamek plushes, as well, for 20 years, no one made any. But that was until 2013, when Sine made their really iconic Kamek plush, which is probably the Kamek plush that's most well known. And well, in my opinion, this definitely has to be the best Kamek plush ever released, as well, it was just really high quality, and it just looks really good. As well, the glasses on this plush has a bit of embroidery on it just to give it a bit more detail, and they're also just really nicely put onto the plush so they can't really fall off. And if they do fall off, they do look really strange, as well, I found this one Kamek plush that was missing his glasses, and well, it just looks really strange. And well, for the rest of the face on this plush is really nicely stuffed, and is also just really well made, as well, the details like the mouth and everything just look really good. As well, they also added some teeth onto the plush just to give it a bit more detail, and they also embroidered on the nose pieces, so unlike the Vic Tokai plush where the nose pieces could actually fall off, these ones are just embroidered on so they can't get damaged. The hat on this plush is also really good, as well, but just can't come off the plush, as well, it was actually just fully part of the plush, as well, it was just stitched to it. And well, for the clothes on this plush, they're just really nicely made once again, the wand looks pretty good and is still accurate to today's standards. And while the wand could once again fall off of this plush just like the other two, but it is nicely stitched on, as usually Sine does really good job with their stitching, so unless if you purposely get it unstitched from the hand, it will actually be pretty hard to get damaged. So yeah, overall, this is definitely the most well-known Kamek plush, and also the one that I think is the best in terms of accuracy, as I just think it looks really good. And well, there's also a bootleg of this plush, which just looks really strange, as it's just way too skinny, and the glasses just look really weird. As though this entire Kamek plush is just way too skinny, but the glasses are also just way too big, and they also use iron-on material, which isn't on the original. The plush's face also just looks really strange, and the wand also looks really weird, as it was just really stuffed for some reason, which just gives it a really weird look. So yeah, if you buy any stock images on eBay of this Kamek plush, you'll most likely just get the bootleg, as though the official one is actually pretty hard to come by. As though every once in a while, it'll show up on eBay and Mercari, and it'll basically sell instantly, as though it just sells for around $100, and since a lot of people want it, it basically sells instantly. Now moving on to the next Kamek plush is actually a really strange one, as it was actually a prototype. And while this actually just isn't a prototype plush, it's actually supposed to be a puppet. As if you look in the bottom of it, you could actually tell that you're supposed to put your hand in it and use it as a puppet, so yeah, it's overall just a really strange concept. As of a little while ago, Nintendo actually made some puppet plushes, and well, I guess they were supposed to make these ones as well, but they just never released it for whatever reason. And well, there's actually two variants of this Kamek plush prototype, but I'm just going to be going over this one first, as well as the one that showed up first. And well, for this plush, you could tell that there's actually no glass in the glasses, so it does look pretty weird. The face is pretty nicely stuffed though, and the teeth are made out of a felt material, meaning they could get bent and damaged, but the rest of the face looks fine. All the clothes on this plush look really good, and well, obviously this plush doesn't have any legs, as it's supposed to be a puppet. And while this plush's wand is basically the exact same as the Sine one, so once again, it looks pretty good. And well, here's the second variant of it. Obviously, you could tell that it's just slightly different, as well, but it actually has glass in the glasses, and you could tell that the mouth is also just slightly different. And well, the blue on this Kamek plush is also just a slightly lighter blue color than the last one, but besides that, there's not really many other differences between the two. And while both of them are obviously prototypes, and while they were never actually released, and these are the only two prototypes that I actually know exist. And while I don't actually know which year these were meant to be released in, as well, I just know that they're prototypes and they don't really have any year attached to them. But yeah, if you want these plushes, they're basically impossible to get, as well, there's really only one of each, so unless if you somehow get your hands on the prototype, you can't really buy them. And well, moving on to the newest Kamek plush, we have the All-Star Kamek plush released in the year 2017 by the company Sine. Now, in my opinion, this one actually looks worse than the original Kamek plushes, though I don't really like the face on this one. As well, I just think it's a bit too well stuffed, as well, for whatever reason, his face just looks a bit bigger than it's actually supposed to be. And well, besides the face looking a bit weirder, the rest of the plush is basically the exact same as their original Kamek plush, except just slightly bigger. So yeah, besides the weird looking face, the rest of the details on this plush actually look really good, and while the wand just had a slight improvement to it, but besides that, the rest of the plush is basically the exact same. So yeah, honestly, I don't really think they needed to re-release the Kamek plushes up. I think the original just looked fine, and honestly, I don't really think this one's an improvement. But yeah, currently this is the newest Kamek plush, and if you want to get it, you could easily find it on websites like Amazon and eBay for, well, pretty cheap. So yeah, that was every single Kamek plush that has ever been made. There's a total of 5 of them right now, and well, it's actually been 7 years since the last Kamek plush release, so who knows when we're actually going to get another Kamek plushes, though it's actually been a while. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe, and comment down below which of these Kamek plushes are your favorite, and yeah, have a great day.